What's up, Inland Empire? I'm Jessica Q, your host. And today we've got Tyrone Taylor on the show talking about dog training. You're a behavior specialist. He's actually my dog's trainer. So how are you doing, Taylor?
Pretty good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for being on the show today. I'm really excited to, have you on and, share with the community some tips on how to, train your dogs and so on and so forth. So go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So as you hear, I'm a behavior specialist. I've been doing it for 10 years. I love it, honestly. Every day, I work with dogs. Even on my off days, I kind of find myself going out and helping people with their dogs if they're pooling, just to try to educate the public and help people out that I see need help, because I'm so addicted to my job. But I want to influence people to work with their dogs more and more. So that way we have less dogs getting put down every day. That's the reason why I'm here. That's why I love helping these dogs to keep them from getting put down. I even, give kudos to the people who take in rescue dogs as well, because that's a big challenge, especially because of what I see. The dogs that come to me every day are usually rescues. Some of them have aggressive backgrounds towards dogs or towards people, but I give people a lot of props who rescue dogs and, who can even take in a dog. It's not easy at all.
So you've got over 10 years experience working with dogs. And I gotta ask you, worst situation you've been with a dog, like that you've had with a dog?
The worst situation that I have had with a dog is last year I got my finger taken off by a dog.
Completely?
Completely. Maybe hanging by a blood clot and just a little piece of skin.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm sure everybody wants to hear what happened.
So I had a little different techniques back in the day. I was doing a lot of hands-on techniques. I kind of frayed away from it because of that situation. Also, now I kind of learned to be more hands-off and teaching the client to be more hands-on and kind of forcing myself to learn to kind of guide them through verbally rather than doing most of the work and then giving them the leash. But one dog I took in, I was doing some touch exercises, teaching the dog that, once you stop reacting, then we could take the pressure off, right? So once I started doing that with this dog, the dog turned around, muzzle was cut off on the side, and I couldn't even react fast enough. The dog already took my finger. Oh.
Wait, do you not are you missing a finger?
Well, they reattached my finger. They had to do reconstructive surgery.
Okay. Does it?
But it's a little shorter than the rest of the finger. I mean, the other fingers.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it looks a little different too.
Yes. Yes.
You're like my wound from, man. Okay. Wow. I would have been freaked out. I don't even know what I would have done, but at least you got your finger back, right?
Yes.
You didn't eat it or like.
Exactly.
Oh,
I think that was my only fear. Was him eating my finger and not being able to recover it.
Yeah, seriously, that's what I would have been worried about too. Oh my goodness. So, okay. So this is a good reason why it's so important to train your dogs and train them when they're young, right? Train them when you're young. And also I believe, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but like attention, giving your animals attention makes a difference, right?
Exactly. So attention you can overwhelm a dog with attention. In the sense that the dog can start getting separation anxiety, or, you can get the attention to the dog where the dog starts bonding with you. Saying hi and bye before you leave, just being glued to the dog where the dog doesn't know how to live by itself and not letting the dog be independent. So now when the dog kind of separates from the owner, the dog becomes more owner dependent. Those end up being an issue, which cause separation anxiety. But I think people should know how to draw the line, kind of like how we do with for the people that have
like
kids,
boundaries
with kids,
setting boundaries with your pet too.
Pretty much setting boundaries with your pet, just like you do in a relationship with your kid. You don't want to be all held on to the person every day, because once that person leaves, it's hard to live without that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the
My
idea
dog
for the
has
dog.
no boundaries, by the way. Luna has no boundaries. She will like get in my face and just look at me and I'm like, hey,
Yes.
hi.
Yes.
Like I'm eating right now and it's all of a sudden I'm eating too, by the way. It's so funny. But yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of dogs out there and there's a lot of dogs that are not trained and a lot of people do not spend the time to train their dogs.
Yes.
Now, one of the things you do, you know, you're bad attitude canine
Yes.
and you train dogs.
Correct.
Now let's do this. Let's give everybody a few tips
Okay.
on, you know, training your dog. What
Okay.
would be like the top 5 tips that you would give people?
So let's say say if you're taking in a puppy, I recommend exposing your puppy as much as possible. Exposure doesn't just mean taking your dog around people, taking your dog around environments. It means like letting people interact. Even if you have future plans for teaching your dog to do protection in the future, if the dog does qualify or has that aspect or, you know, working line in him.
Okay.
I do recommend, you know, exposing your dog as much as possible, letting people pet your dog, taking your dog in crowded environments, non-crowded environments, grocery stores, things like that to kind of like help your dog get through those possible fears that can happen in the future. Also skate parks. Skate parks are a big thing for a lot of dogs. A lot of dogs don't like skateboards.
Yeah.
They don't like bicycles.
Well, the sounds like
the sound. Some dogs, it may initiate their prey drive. So then it causes the dog to chase after those objects. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So I believe in exposing the dog to those things as
Exposing,
well.
number one.
So you want to expose, socialize. Socialization can go with people and with dogs and with other animals. So even if you want to take your dog around cows, horses, things like that, that's always a good thing. Because some dogs don't know how to act around horses where they go after horses, which is one client I've actually dealt with. The dog didn't feel comfortable with horses, so I ended up working the dog around the horses. Within no time, until the dog got comfortable. Now the dog's comfortable with horses. The dog's not going after the horses and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then what's number 3?
So number 3 is, you know, taking your dog in. Well, so this is a thing. When you have a rescue dog, taking your rescue dog through some obedience right away is always the best thing. Start with structure because you never know what the dog's background is. You know, the dog could be dog aggressive or human aggressive, but if you catch it in time, a lot of times the dogs don't even get to show that side. You know what I mean? So if you go through a lot of preventative training with that dog before that dog starts to open up, it tends to work out a lot better. There are some times where things may arise, such as, you know, reactivity, like food aggression, things like that. There may be some cases where you still get that, but for the most part, once you start building that structure, it kind of, you know, cuts down the possibilities of those negative things happening. So I do recommend, you know, building that structure, getting that obedience in, but also having not just a positive obedience, but having a balanced obedience. You know what I mean? And working that in a public environment as well to kind of help that dog.
And that's if you got like a new rescue dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you never know when you get a rescue dog what they've been through and if they're traumatized or what they are traumatized of what, right? So it's like you got to be really careful with those pups in the beginning, right?
Correct.
And then what other tips do you have?
So another tip I have is, so with people that have puppies, people go to the vets, and vets some vets may tell you not to take your dog out when your dog is a puppy.
They all say that actually until they get all their shots. I don't think that I initially like took Luna out for like 4 months or something. It was a while.
And then by that time, a lot of dogs are already nervous. So I do recommend with my dog, I have a Belgian Malinois. Her name is Artemis. I took her out when she was about 6 weeks, but I never let her put her on the ground. Okay. I'm always sanitary. Carry her around with me. Her. Yep. Carry her with me. If I go in a grocery store, I put her in the cart, to kind of desensitize her at early stages. You know what I mean? Yeah. Especially because she's going to become a working dog. You know what I mean? So the more you desensitize, the less problems you may have in the future, which will interfere with the dog's job. You know what I mean?
Okay. And then, so that was tip 4. So one more tip.
All
Tip
right.
number 5.
Tip number 5. So I know a lot of people have issues with potty training.
Oh, yeah.
Potty training is one of the biggest issues I hear a lot of people have issues with, whether it's a puppy, whether it's a rescue dog, regardless of the dog, right? So for potty training, what I like to do is I may put the dog's food in a crate, right? I don't necessarily give the dog any other food until the dog has to figure out how to go into the crate, right? So I may leave the crate set up in the house, bring the food out, show the dog I have the food, put the food in the back of the crate, you know what I mean? And now the dog has to go into the back of the crate to get the food. I don't ever close the gate because I don't want the dog to feel uncomfortable, right? So I keep doing that for a repetition for about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Some dogs are faster than others. So I may put the food in the crate. Now, once I put the food in the crate, the dog ends up going in there, you know what I mean? And sneaking, getting the food and watching his back to make sure nobody closes the door. Well, afterwards, once you keep doing that, the dog stops looking behind him once he sees nobody close the door, right? So now the environment becomes more of a positive environment, a comfortable environment for the dog because he's not worried about somebody closing the door on him, right? So from there, we are like building the dog, right? Now the dog goes into the crate, now we can start working on closing the door once the dog gets more comfortable, and making it more of a game for the dog.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So whenever you're introducing a lot of things to the dog, you always want to use food. If the dog is not food driven, then we use pressure. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And pressure could be on slips. They can be on prong collars. They can be on fur savers. You can use pressure on a shock collar, but you have to know how to use the tool. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. It's all about how you use them. So we are going to go to a quick commercial break. We will be right back and we'll continue our conversation with Taylor from Bad Attitude Canine.
Do you need help reaching more customers? At NB Media, we're a full-service advertising agency offering social media marketing, Hulu, Spotify, billboards, photo shoots, radio, TV, and websites. To see what else we offer, visit www.nb.media or call 951-777-1947.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much to our sponsor. Without you, we wouldn't be here. So thank you. And now we are here with Taylor from Bad Attitude Canine. And he is a dog behavior specialist. So if you are thinking about getting a dog or you have a dog that is driving you crazy, you can call Taylor. He can help you. And he just gave us 5 really amazing tips. So thank you for that. So let's talk about getting, dogs. Like a lot of people, sometimes they just go, they decide, oh, I'm going to get a dog. And then they just go get like a random dog,
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't always think that's the best idea. I think people should do more research about the dog before they get it. I've seen people get Belgians and they'll be elderly people. And this can go bad a lot of times, especially knowing, and then also high drive dogs. It could be like a pit bull or German shepherd, but some people don't know how to read that behavior. I think it's always important to do more research on the breed before you get these breeds, and find a dog more suitable to what you can handle. If you feel you're too busy, get more of a dog that that's more chill. So you can use like a little dog or a mastiff will be like a chill breed. Things like dogs like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically you're saying there is a dog for every type of person and every type of lifestyle.
Correct.
So before you go run and get a dog, make sure that dog makes sense for your lifestyle because dogs they become your children and you want to make sure that they will fit in and you guys can live, together in peace and harmony.
Yes, correct.
Right? Because if not, yeah, it can be pretty wild and crazy.
Yes.
Is there, anything that you want to talk like let's talk about your services. What do you offer people?
So I offer everything from basic obedience. So I do that for, older dogs, rescue dogs. I do it for puppies. I also offer, of course, behavior modification. Behavior modification kind of focuses on everything in your behavior spectrum. So anything like dog aggression, food aggression, bringing in a rescue dog and the rescue dog doesn't get along with the new dog or vice versa, which is more an idea of things that happen is usually the dog comes into a household. It doesn't get along with the dog existing there. It doesn't get along with the dog on the outside. But We even do protection. You know what I mean? So protection, building the bite, teaching the dog, foundation, things like that is all imperative. What else do we go? We do house calls as well. House calls, we go anywhere in the IE. If that you call us, we're there. We can help you with your in-home behavior. If the client requests that, in-home call, then we'll give them that. But if, there's behaviors that are in-home, then we may suggest it even more for in-home call. If it's something that they can come out to us for, we may suggest that, just try to help them out, because we do let people know house calls do cost more in service.
Yeah.
As opposing to if you come out to us, we're a lot cheaper because it's not the commuting and things like that. And, we can get a lot more done out in public. I feel public's a lot better,
Yeah, because there's a lot of opportunity to work with the environment and everything going on, right?
Exactly.
And then you also do, because I did this with Luna, is so you were talking about boarding?
Correct. We do also offer board and train. Board and train is perfect for, say, if the people can't spend time with the dog and get the training in that the dog needs. I may recommend the board and train. There's a lot of people that are in the medical field, or they may go on vacation, or they can't get the timing on point. They don't feel like they have enough self-discipline to kind of get the dog what it needs. So they rather put the dog in my hands and have me train the dog and get the dog to where it needs to get, because they see the dog's results with me compared to them.
Right. And that's exactly what I did. I have a very hectic, busy schedule. I'm always here, there, everywhere. So it was perfect. You took Luna for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And when you brought her back, it was like, she was like a completely different dog. She was obedient. And she started, one thing I noticed about her when you brought her back is her eye contact changed.
Oh, most
like
definitely.
It was, like she was listening and understanding. And I love that,
Yes.
And I have a Doberman. She's almost like 100 pounds. So this is the type of dog that you need to make sure, if you're going to have a dog like this, you need to train them. Because I realize a lot of people are afraid of Dobermans.
Yes.
I guess Dobermans, if they're not trained properly, they're aggressive dogs.
Yes,
so you got to make
correct.
sure, so if you're out there, thinking about getting a dog, there's a lot to think about.
That is so true. That is so true. If you guys ever need any evaluation, like if you need me to check out a dog for you, you go and buy a dog. You don't always have to sign up for a package, but I have some people that call me out just because they're buying a dog and they're unsure about the parents, or they're unsure about the dogs that they're purchasing.
Okay.
So they may call me out, and
So
I
you do
may
like consultations.
pretty much to evaluate the dog to see if this is a perfect dog for their lifestyle, but not only for their lifestyle, but is this person trying to screw this person over by giving them a bad dog, which I have seen, and I've told the person to back out. And the person selling the dog ends up trying to tell me to try to shut me up, and I'm just like, dude, you're selling this person a bad dog. This is how people get hurt.
You see, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Seriously, right?
So it's like you got to take into consideration about other people's life. It's other people's life over money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's very important.
Right, exactly. So there you go. So how can our viewers or listeners reach out to you? So let's give them all the different ways they can reach out if they are interested in your consulting, or they need, training board. How do they reach out to you?
So you can actually reach out to me. You can actually text us, or you can look us up on Google, Bad Attitude Canine. And we should pop up. It's a picture of a red dog. It looks like a cane corso. And you can even message us on Instagram. Our Instagram is, of course, is Bad Attitude Canine as well. And then we'll message you through either platform, whether it's Instagram. We also have Facebook, so you can message us through there. Or you can also, once you go on Google, you can also text us through there as well.
So you guys are on Google, you're on social media.
Correct.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
And so any last words to our listeners and viewers before we sign off?
Just stay consistent. If you ever go with the trainer, just stay consistent. Consistency is the biggest thing. I can't express that enough. A lot of people think that it's just, I train my dog, I throw my dog in the crate. That's it. No, consistency is the biggest thing. You don't learn everything in one go. So when you go out and you learn how to do a job, you have to learn it a few times just to for it to stick to your mind.
Right, yeah.
So the same thing applies for a dog. You know what
There
I
you
mean?
go. Consistency.
Consistency.
There you go. I think that's just in life in general, huh?
Correct.
Just be consistent. You'll see results.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Taylor, for coming out. I appreciate it. And I'm sure I'll see you soon because, got a couple more sessions to get Luna in her tip-top shape, right?
Yes. She's a great dog. She's a really good dog. She's very easy to work with, very good at being social. She did really good with other dogs being social and socializing. Didn't see any reactivity or anything. Which is really
I
good.
bring her here to the office sometimes and she'll just like go say hi to everybody. And then she goes on our bean bag and just hangs out. It's funny.
Yes.
So cool. Thank you. Yes, Luna and I both appreciate you very much. And I know you guys are going to appreciate Taylor too if you reach out to him. I highly recommend him. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes. And then also if you guys want 10% off, just mention Jessica.
Ooh, Jessica Q discount.
Mention Jessica Q and I'll give you 10% off discount.
Cool.
That goes for any package, behavior modification, for your basic obedience, and I'll take care of you, okay?
Yes, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for giving our listeners a discount. So mention Jessica Q, get 10% off of his services. Once again, thank you, Taylor, so much. You're so awesome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for being amazing and tuning in. We will see you next week. Bye.